You have a leader of that country who was involved in the murder of a Washington Post journalist. I don't think that that type of government should be rewarded with a visit by the President of the United States.
Going from calling MPS a pariah to fist-pumping him was really disappointing.
Progressive Democrats ripping President Biden over his trip to the Middle East. And as the president struggles on the world stage, concerns of China's influence in the region are growing.
Joining us now, Congressman James Comer, ranking member of the House Oversight Committee. Congressman, good morning to you. You know, when it comes to deliverables, one thing that President Biden did announce is that Saudi Arabia is going to be allowing the testing of a new 5G technology that will compete with China's Huawei. So how important is that, and how do you think China viewed President Biden's trip to the Middle East?
Well, China loves President Biden. I mean, under President Trump, we were putting America first on all of our foreign policy. And now with Joe Biden, for whatever reason, he seems to turn a blind eye to all of the bad behavior by China, from stealing our intellectual property and patents to continuing to go into other countries and purchase rare earth mineral mines and all the other types of investments that we need in America to be able to bring back manufacturing. So whatever Joe Biden announced with Saudi Arabia, I would question, because I believe that China is trying to get their foot in the door in Middle East. And I believe China has a bigger presence in the Middle East than what the Biden administration realizes.
That is concerning. Speaking of China, Congressman, you are looking into whether China is actually using TikTok, you know, the app with all the pictures, to access American user data, after the company's CEO released a statement saying, quote, employees outside the U.S., including China-based employees, can have access to TikTok U.S. user data subject to a series of robust cybersecurity controls and authorization approval protocols overseen by our U.S.-based security team. A lot of words there. You buying it, Congressman?
No, you know, the parent company of TikTok, ByteDance, they've already lied to Congress about what they do with this data. So what we have with TikTok is China having their foot in the door on American information, on American data, on all sorts of data. And this is concerning. This is concerning about privacy. This is concerning about national security. So my House Oversight Committee is working with the House Energy and Commerce Committee. We're requesting information to see exactly what this administration is doing to try to protect the privacy and the data of American citizens.
I'm sure a lot of parents watching right now who have children that use TikTok would want to know, what kind of data are we talking about?
We're talking about everything. I mean, we're concerned about facial recognition, but they're also collecting data on purchasing, on browsing, on all sorts of activities and things that the children like, to be able to influence future purchases. I mean, China, despite being a communist country, is very business savvy. So this data gives them a competitive advantage, you know, obviously by invading our privacy. They know exactly what trends the next generation of consumers are into.
Finally, Congressman, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband reportedly purchasing up to $5 million in stock options on a computer chip company ahead of a vote on legislation next week that would deliver billions of dollars to boost the chip industry. Congressman, why is this still allowed to happen after Pelosi's been called out on this before by both Republicans and Democrats?
Yeah, this is terrible. This is another bad example of Nancy Pelosi's leadership. And this isn't the first time that her husband did this. He bought stock options ahead of all the big tech hearings. And of course, nothing happened there. So Nancy Pelosi is the ultimate insider. And not only is her husband buying stock options on a much higher level than the average member of Congress. The average member of Congress may buy $5,000 or $6,000 worth of stock. He's buying $500,000 worth of stock. He's buying stock options which expire. So to be able to trade stock options profitably, you have to know exactly which direction that stock's going to move, and you can make a huge profit. So this is wrong. This is another example of the media turning a blind eye to Nancy Pelosi's bad behavior and unethical behavior.
Congressman James Comer, thank you so much for joining us this morning on three very important topics. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.